I thought I hit unmute. Son of a bitch. Derp-a-derp. All right, let's start this out again. Boomer. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. All right, let's try this again. I thought I hit the unmute and I didn't. All right. So what was I saying? Oh, on Cancel Culture Daily, we have Joss Whedon and superheroes, and you could be next, and so could I. And it looks like the Chode has been canceled as well. Ah, shucks. Let that be a lesson for everyone that it's not that easy to put a system together. And it's pretty impressive, as imperfect as it is, that America has been able to do it in a couple hundred years. Gratitude. I think as we send every one of the people home from Chode, since we're not arresting them, we should at least have them write a gratitude list. Toilets, running water, rich white liberals who can support them. They were not self-sustaining, so good riddance and thank you for the lesson. And you ended up doing more damage to your cause than you ever could have, than the opposite side could have ever thought of. So, sayonara. Today, okay, I'm repeating myself from all the stuff you couldn't hear. We are going to hear, we're going to talk about the Star Wars rumors. That's what I was going to originally do. And then we're going to talk about superheroes being canceled, which I didn't get to last show. But then I went to Twitter this morning. I saw my internet son, Ryan Cannell, tweeted out Ray Fisher. Fucking, they need to start with a saw now. Can you hear that? Whatever. Ray Fisher is calling out Joss Whedon for basically being a Hollywood director. And I put right under the tweet, I'm like, Joss Whedon canceled in 5, 4, or trending in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom, he was trending. And what we're seeing here is past discretions being brought up, stuff we already knew. I know a couple people who have worked for Joss Whedon over the years. This isn't nothing new. He's a hothead. He is tyrannical on set. And hey, newsflash, you know who are some of the most fascist, tyrannical people on the planet? This side of dictators? Maybe, no, only a little more than dictators. Hollywood directors, Hollywood producers, Hollywood actors. Robert De Niro is a dictator or a king over his little fiefdom. You know, they all are. And most of them are pretty dumb. According to Anthony Hopkins. I'm using his words, not mine. Not mine. All right. Let us see who is here. You know, going after Hollywood is fun. If I had some popcorn, it's not good to eat popcorn on a live stream, though. Eric K., welcome, and your wrench. Ensign Ricky, what's up? William Ramskull, John Robertson, TD, the Lutherist, like Lutheran? I don't know. Anarcho. By the way, speaking of anarcho, we have Eric July joining us for Friday Night Tights, day after tomorrow, 2 p.m. Be sure to tune in. His band just came out with some new music. I tweeted it out, and he's brilliant. And I think it's a perfect week to have him on. We also got some good news from StreamYard today. We can now have 10 people on. Now, I like the 6-person format. I'm probably going to keep that for Friday Night Tights, but maybe later on in the show, we could start bringing on guests. Or, you know what, people, you guys in the chat, we could start bringing you on later on the show, and I think that would be fun. So we can now bring in 10 people on StreamYards. That's good. Bunker Baines, welcome. Arasaka, thank you for the super chat, and I'll get to it in just a second. Thank you. Dr. Smith X, Keely Chow, Jester Feathers, Red Pillaging, Oz Baxter, Keck44, Ellen Jacobson, and everyone else. Zeline SW, thank you for being a member, by the way. Is it Celine or Zeline? Celine or Zeline? What up, biatches? Says Babbling Booby. And Shark Dentures, hail to you. Hail to you. Yeah, we'll start out with Joss. So yeah, I've known a couple people who work for Joss. He's always been a hothead. Um, I don't think that's any secret. And I mean, is he? Yeah, a lot of a lot of the environments, and this is male and female directors. They are tyrannical. They are hostile. They are very much hostile work environments in Hollywood. This is no secret. That's kind of how creativity works. And now that we have all these sensitive people, he yelled at me. And listen, I know the Snyder Cut people are going to want to jump on this, and they definitely have a beef with Joss Whedon. And I know it's the whole Marvel versus DC thing, but Snyder Cut fans, I'll just say you guys won. You don't need to pile on Joss. The world is going to do that for you. And I'm not defending Joss. He's been a complete a-hole out there in public too. He has brought a lot of this, if not most of it, on himself. But we have to, with these accusations going out, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? I'm not going to believe all women. I'm not going to believe all Ray Fishers either. And why now? Why do you bring this up now? Or did he bring it up earlier? I'm not sure. Is Joss Whedon a dick? Yes. Is that against the law? No, it's not. And I'm not defending. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I don't love it enough to defend him, to defend Joss for his actions in public. I don't. And I just tweeted out, I don't think Anita is going to be able to save you from this one, buddy. And it doesn't matter. Now that it started on Twitter, the floodgates are open, and I don't know if it's happening yet. We're going to check and see if other people start piping in with Joss Whedon stories. We saw that happen with Ellen for like 2 weeks. People who work for Ellen DeGeneres just started piling on, yet she's still working. Amazing, huh? Amazing how you can be protected in Hollywood if you're a member of a certain group. Ezra Miller, Miss Turd. Norwegian Kryptonian, thank you for the 22 Norwegian Kronen. Have a coffee, shine on, and cheers. Shine on, you crazy diamond, you. Oh. Okay, we got, here, I'm just gonna do this live. We're gonna do it live. We're gonna check and see what's going on with Joss Whedon. So, is he not trending? Oh yeah, he's still trending. There we go. All right. Film Gob is right there. He's right there. I love Film Gob. Does anyone remember when I tweeted an email I received about the abuse Joss Whedon gave to Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa during the Justice League reshoots? Can't find it. Film Gob, you will get emails. Let's see if I can. I'm going to reach out to one of my friends and see if they're willing to come on. The problem is one of them is still currently working in Hollywood as an actor. I'm not going to say if it's male or female. So I'm not going to ask that person because they'll say no. But one of them is not anymore. One of them is left Hollywood and gone on to the private sector. And I could probably reach out to that person. He has co-hosted shows with me like many, many moons ago. Man, like 4 or 5 years ago before I got on YouTube. So we'll see if he'll come on and tell a couple stories. They're not anything incriminating. All right. He's just a director. He's an a-hole, But listen, do what you want to do. I'm not going to tell people, but listen, Snyder Cut fans, you won. You won. People are surprised that Joss Whedon is a piece of shite when his own wife already came out years ago about his abuse. And it was more of his hypocrisy. I don't think it was abuse. I actually did a video on that a long time ago. Yeah. Turns out the male feminist Joss Whedon is an asshole and kind of a creeper. Who's surprised there? Ray Fisher speaks on Joss Whedon's work. Wow, man, people are all over this. And this is happening in real time, folks. Ray Fisher speaks on Joss Whedon's work on Justice League. Joss Whedon on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross. Ray? Who uses the word gross? What? I don't know. I don't know too many grown men who use that word. Abusive, unprofessional. Okay, Sure. And completely unacceptable. But here's where an interesting name comes in. He was enabled in many ways by Jeff Johns and John Berg. Now, I'll tell you right now, I know the Snyder Cut people, fans, hate Jeff Johns. I am certainly not a fan of his work with Warner Brothers. I don't think he's got the chutzpah to produce in Hollywood, although he has those high aspirations. I don't know the man. This is just my speculation. But I've always heard he was kind of a nice guy as far as comics are concerned. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Jeff Johns. They've always said he was a DC encyclopedia and he was a nice guy. Maybe, I don't know. I think EVS has even said he's a good guy. So, yeah. I think what probably happened was he was a nice guy. And if you're a nice guy in Hollywood, you will be hated by everyone. That will unite any two factions because you're a nice guy. Because empathy and sympathy and I don't know, being trustworthy and stuff, that is blood in the water in the Shark Tank. That is Hollywood. So he probably was, I think Jeff Johns brought in Joss Whedon thinking we can do Avengers again. And by the way, are we going to cancel Avengers? If we cancel Joss Whedon, then we have to cancel the Avengers, right? Or at least put a disclaimer in front of the film saying this film is directed by a meanie pants. By a meanie pants and a gross meanie pants. I demand that disclaimer right now. Variety. Ray Fisher accuses Joss Whedon of being Joss Whedon. Basically. Behavior on Justice League set. Everybody has known this for years. So why is it relevant now? Well, it's because we can take people out. 6 months ago, people would have gone, yeah. But now, that's all this platform is good for. That's all this piece of crap platform is good for. Silicon Valley's had quite a week. I'm going to get in trouble for talking about this. But there has been, there's been multiple deplatforming on multiple platforms, and it happened at the same time, which leads me to believe that there was some collusion going on there. Last time I checked, that's against the law. But laws mean a little less these days, I guess. Ray Fisher accuses Joss Whedon of abuse, unprofessional behavior, being Joss Whedon. Again, not defending the dude. I am watching this as a impartial observer. How Zack Snyder treats his women versus Joss Whedon in a nutshell. He said that you were with thirsty, whatever. Alls I know is I'll stick up for Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder got a lot of heat from a lot of people. You don't hear anybody complaining about Zack Snyder on the set. I know I know somebody who, my wife knows somebody who works for him and just loves him. Joss Whedon acted like a piece of shite towards the cast and crew of Justice League, cheated on his wife, and gets a pass for being a Hollywood director. All Zack did was make a movie and he gets effing crucified. Oh, well, I mean, that's true, but that's you want to talk about systematic in Hollywood. Listen. What's that? Kurtzman should learn making shows from Odar and Fries. Kurtzman is, we'll talk about him another day. I will say that, I can give you some inside info on Star Trek. But, there is a part of me that's going, Joss Whedon. But this stuff is getting sick. Again, he's an asshole. And you know what? When you cheat on your wife, you get a divorce, you go through that. That's your punishment. But to go through this again, who knows? Who knows what brought this up? Obviously, it's coordinated. Somebody wanted attention. I don't know. I would argue that it's unprofessional to go on Twitter and say stuff like this too. Handle it like men. Why don't you reach out to Joss Whedon and go, you were abusive. Let's talk about this. Let's sit that. I mean, I'm being totally ridiculous bringing that up right now, right? Right? Yeah. Fuck. Mark Santo, let's see what you guys think. Thank you for joining up at the Jaloja level. I appreciate it. And Jason Gallagher, thank you for joining up at the Jaloja level. The Male Ray for $2. Volume issues, can't hear. Yeah, that's sorry. My mic was muted. SJ Almighty telling me you can't hear. Thank you for the £2. Sorry. Scottish Nerd with the Phallic Unicorn. Thank you very much. Hail Gary, fuel for the move. Thank you. Arasaka for $2 and Automata. Welcome to the proto-molecule level. Okay, yeah. So I am, it's official. You guys have always known, but the move has begun. We are boxing things up and we are getting the hell out of San Francisco. And I'm never, ever, ever going to come back to live. I'm going to have to come back here a couple times because unfortunately, thanks to our wonderful politicians, I can neither sell my house or rent it. Isn't that great? Because the way the laws here in San Francisco, if I rent it out, somebody could just squat, not pay their rent, and there's not much I can do. It would take me tens of thousands of dollars and 2 years of my life to evict somebody. Not even going to risk it. Not even going to risk it. And no, management companies don't help. So, yeah, great. Everything I've fought, worked my entire life for. The American dream has been canceled in San Francisco, but not in other places. So I'm just fine. I'm not going to support this city anymore with my tax dollars, and I'm not going to support California anymore with my tax dollars. Personal decision. It's a one-party state now, and the danger of that is you don't get a lot of change. And it starts affecting my life personally, affecting my kid's life. I cannot, with good conscience, let my kid go to a public school here anymore because it's indoctrination, in my opinion. And listen, I have been accused of this, but I am not right nor far right. I'm neither. But it's gotten fun. It's gotten extreme here. A little extreme. F YouTube, if I didn't see the tweet, I wouldn't know you were on right now. The Nooner is my release after work. Awesome, Darkstar. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you guys can like and share it, I appreciate it. I hate to ask you guys this so much. I'm trying to dial down asking for subs and likes and shares in the videos, but like when I don't, it just doesn't happen. What's happening to most of us here in the Fandom Menace, except if we get, if we're part of something, if you catch a wave, but for the most of the time, we're not getting recommended as much. We have been put into our little corner. I have proof of this. I do have proof of this that I'll show on Friday Night Tights. I got to screenshot some stuff and just show you how they do it. And it's really nothing. It's based on the old Google Plus system. So it's part of the algorithm, but they can control it. And it sucks, especially when I don't think I'm extreme at all, to be honest with you. I think I'm pretty tame compared to a lot of YouTube channels. I don't know how much longer that's going to be, though. I really don't. Justin Gould for $5. What's up, Justin? Disney, Lucasfilm might be able to fix Star Wars, but we will never get another adventure with Luke, Han, and Leia. They cannot be forgiven. No, they can't. And we will discuss that. It's not in the title, but we are definitely going to discuss that. We'll discuss people running with rumors. You guys know my opinion on this. If somebody sent me the information that was sent to Doomcock, I would think about putting it out. I can't say I would have to hear, which I won't. But he said he had multiple sources. So if you get one thing and then you get another person verifying it and you can verify that person, I would run with it. Absolutely. And I back Doomcock's right to run with whatever the hell he wants on his channel. And, of course, the not defunded internet police came out and made some we're going to discuss one accusation that was made that, because usually I don't bring attention to this shit. I don't care what other people say. People can say what they want. They can make videos about Doomcock or me. We don't care. We generally don't care until they cross the line with a certain accusation that we'll discuss a little bit later. 369 Garion for $2. Hail Nerdrotic. Hail to you. Thank you. Thank you for the $2. Elaine for £2. For the record, I'm not your ex-wife. Love the show. Thank you, Elaine. Elaine. Yes, Elaine is my ex-wife. She's not a bad person. Okay, she's not a bad person at all. At all. It just didn't work out. That's all it was. It kind of petered out. It's like, we thought we had a lot in common and we really don't. So let's go be happy, separate. And that's the way it was. I don't ever want to demonize her. Anthony, she didn't like my comic collecting. That was a problem. What did you think about the Game of Thrones fuel or the Got Fuel? What got fuel? Explain that, Anthony Slate, for $1.99. I don't know. You could just put it in the chat, though. Hit @Nerdrotic, Anthony, and give me some context to that. All right, so I don't know. What do you like? There's part of me that really enjoys watching Joss Whedon squirm a little bit because he's been completely obnoxious to large portions of his audience, of his own audience. And listen, he has a right to say whatever the hell he wants, but then he risks the blowback. When you work in Hollywood, see, Joss Whedon is not an independent contractor in the sense where runs his own business. He can have his own opinion without any blowback. All his work is done with giant corporations. They contracted him out, and he is connected to now Disney. Okay. He is directly connected to Disney. And when he goes off and pops off politically, he risks offending half of the potential or 30% of the potential customers for Disney. His next product, they don't care. Disney doesn't care anymore. And there's got to be a point where we got, okay, I've liked your work in the past, but I can't support you anymore. I'm not going to support you anymore. And again, you have your right to say that. There are ways to say things without offending people, and you could still get your point across. But they don't care. They're all kings of their little fiefdoms. They're all their own. They have their own private mini dictatorships that they run. That's why so many people in Hollywood. I'm not the first to say this, by the way. So many people in Hollywood identify with dictators. Do you notice there's a lot of admiration for dictators? There was a lot of admiration for that guy in Cuba or that guy in Venezuela. Did we not see Sean Penn? They just love these guys. Why? Well, they identify with them. They don't have a lot of people telling them no. And this is what's really broken the spell over the audience with the Hollywood celebrity. It's a thing of the past. How many actors do you automatically go to see a movie for now? I would argue Quentin Tarantino and Christopher Nolan. Those are two people I would generally automatically go see their movie. Now, Quentin Tarantino, not as much, but Christopher Nolan directs a movie. I'm going to see it no matter what. I'm not going to say I loved all his movies, but he is probably the rock star director left. How many are left? Joss Whedon was briefly, but there's not many left. And how many movie stars? Well, Chris Evans, he was famous because he was Captain America. His other films aren't going to do very well. Even Robert Downey Jr., he was famous as Tony Stark, but he goes off and does other things and people aren't watching it. It's just not happening anymore. Comedy is dead. You can't even, comedy is dead now. Good luck doing comedy unless you're going to make some Orange Man movie and who's going to see that? Well, I'm sure there'll be a crowd. The same crowd that saw Knives Out, the public broadcasting audience. Hail, Gary. Seeing that Star Trek Below Decks premieres August 6th. Oh, did that get announced today? Nicholas Horton, I didn't know. Will it be put to the rack on the Inquisition? Is it on Sunday? Ah, Christ. What time is it air? Is it dropping all at once? Hang on, folks. I got to look into this. We'll probably have to move the time around, but we'll see. Un momento. Por favor. We haven't seen a preview of footage yet, but they announced the release date. Did we get a trailer? I'll check. Here we go, folks. Thanks, Nicholas. I'll finish that super chat in a second, okay, bud? Star Trek Lower Decks to premiere August 6th on CBS All Access. The animated comedy beams into Starfleet's less glamorous side, courtesy of one of the creators of Rick and Morty. Yeah, not Dan Harmon, though. And if it's not Dan Harmon, we have a star date for Star Trek Lower Decks. The animated comedy premieres Thursday, August 6th on CBS All Ass. Disclosure, CNET is owned by CBS. Disclosure, CBS All Access is going to be rebranded and absorbed into a Viacom streaming network while it's losing millions of dollars. By the way, I need to make a shout out. I know I'm all over the place, but I'm limited on time today. So we're going to go on camera. We're going to take a little break from this. It's better for me to do things while I think about them because then I forget. I would like to welcome aboard my very first employee. Well, Mrs. Nerdrotic has been very instrumental behind the scenes with this channel. But quite frankly, for 5 years, I've been winging all of this. Pretty much, I start a live stream, I look at a couple articles, and I just pull shit out of my ass and go. And it's worked so far, and that's great. But I need help, especially since I'm moving. So, got a producer. She's going to mainly work on Friday Night Tights in the beginning, and she's going to help with, just assist with stuff. So, welcome, Lady Gravemaster, to Nerdrotic. So applaud Lady Gravemaster, the producer of Friday Night Tights and Nerdrotic. So there's that. Back to this article. Very happy about that. And listen, it allows me to make more videos. I'll be faster with some stuff, and it's gonna be fun. This latest, maybe someday on time for the Nooner. Not going to promise anything yet, but maybe on time. This latest Star Trek show is developed by Emmy Award winner Mike McMahon, creator of Hulu's Solar Opposites, never heard of it, and co-creator of Rick and Morty. The cartoon focuses on the support crew aboard an insignificant, well, I would argue that all of Kurtzman Trek is insignificant, don't you think? Starfleet starship, the USS Cerritos? Oh, Cerritos. Is that like the Orville? Oh. A year after the Next Generation era. How sad. How sad is this? Star Trek is not something that should mimic anything. It's something that's mimicked. It is a unique franchise. And now we're not only copying a stoner cartoon. Sorry, Rick and Morty fans. I know you like it, and that's good. It's pretty funny. But it's stoner humor. It really is. And a parody of Star Trek, which is more like Star Trek. I mean, this is like Inception level stupidity. So this is a parody of the parody, which is actually the Star Trek, which the Star Trek is no longer the Star Trek, and now the parody, and now they're copying a stoner cartoon. Okay. Lower Decks which I again would argue is probably the most appropriate title for Kurtzman Trek, isn't the first cartoon to visit strange new worlds following the... Why did they say visit strange new worlds? Oh, that's weird. Following the fondly remembered animated series in the early 1970s, it joined the crew of a current Trek shows on streaming services CBS All Access, Star Trek Discovery, and Star Trek Picard. Discovery and Picard are available on Netflix and Amazon outside of the U.S., but there's no word on whether Lower Decks will be streaming elsewhere. Bing, 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 bing. God, I don't have my phone with me right now. Coming soon, I'm going to have to run and get my... Well, no, I don't need to run and get my phone. Coming soon is Star Trek Strange New Worlds, or is it? Which will take us aboard the Enterprise with the young Spock and Captain Kirk's predecessor, Captain Pike. At some point in the future, we'll see a new show about Starfleet Black Ops Outfit Section 31. Oh, now it's at some point in the future. And a kids' cartoon on Nickelodeon. August 6th. Okay. I get to review some more Star Trek. Yay. All right, let me quickly get to give you some news. I love spilling this inside info on live streams. So no. I got to find it. Hang on. There it is. Sorry, folks. Okay. Okay. I have news. Arbitration again. Strange New Worlds is dead. They are out of funding partners and are trying to leverage Kurtzman and Bad reboot to give up the license. CBS did everything humanly possible as per the contract to promote and make this work. It did not. And Kurtzman and co. are in denial. Okay. Pinewood Studios, the studios in Ontario, are closed again due to a spike in the beer bug. This time imposed by the union. The closed set contains several freestanding green screen walls and that are curved. Some railings from the bridge set and the bridge instrument panels that appear in the Discovery Enterprise set, which is in 3-wall sections. There is a 10-foot dismantled corridor there too. Pinewood only has a skeleton security crew working on site. No new productions are in the pipeline from Secret Hideout at Pinewood for the foreseeable future, especially not without Amazon or Netflix funding. Patrick Stewart will be given an interview on NPR tomorrow, and it probably already happened. He will probably either confirm they will be getting a second season in some way, or he will announce he won't be returning. I don't think that would have made news if that happened, so I don't think it happened. CBS got a new CFO, one of the execs at Amazon, and he is charged with cutting costs across the board. So while you're going to hear announcements like Leslie Headland's all-female Star Wars and Strange New Worlds, nothing is set in stone. Zero is set in stone. And I will tell you why, just on top of this, and this is news that is out there that you all know. Without filming big blockbuster movies that bring in billions of dollars, and without TV shows in production, Hollywood is going to have a very, very serious money problem very, very soon. Very, very soon. So they're going to announce stuff, and the reason they're still announcing stuff is the reason they announced a Rian Johnson trilogy prior to Star Wars. It's promotion. And they're not lying. They have an intention. They're like, we might do this. So and they didn't used to do this, but this became a thing with everybody now. Let's just announce what we might do, right? And it gets the thing we're doing right now some energy that people go, oh my God, they announced 5 things. Star Trek must be hot. It's perception, and perception is reality to some people, but unfortunately, it's not reality with Star Trek. And this was proven with some information that my producer, Lady Gravemaster, gave me during a live stream. We went over it during a member stream. She showed me a quarterly report, and everybody else, from Disney and how much money they made from Disney Plus. And holy crap. So Disney Plus, it didn't make $1 billion in the quarter. It didn't make hundreds of millions. It only made tens of millions. Tens of millions. A streaming service. I think it was, the number was like between 60 and 70 million. They're screwed. So what offsets this? Well, the parks and blockbuster billion-dollar movies. Viacom doesn't have that. So I still think Viacom and CBS are going to sell to somebody. That's not from the inside. That's just me. And I'm sure a lot of you think that too. And Star Trek has to be part of that sale. The thing is, if you still sell, you're still connected to Kurtzman. Now, listen, I've been hearing that Kurtzman's gone. Listen, they're stuck with Kurtzman, just like Star Wars is stuck with Kathleen Kennedy. And sometimes you just got to roll with it and hope they get something right. But to call Star Trek a success, nah, and it's not making CBS money. As a matter of fact, why do you think they have to rebrand this streaming service? Why do you think they've never shown us any numbers? Ever. And they never will. So, yeah. There's your Star Trek news. Thank you, Mr. Insider. And Nicholas Horton, thanks for bringing that up. I didn't even know that. So, yeah, I don't know what time it's airing. Let me check the calendar. Okay, cool. Awesome. It's Thursday. So is it weekly? Or is it dropping all at once? So I'll cover it if it's weekly. If it's dropping all at once, I'll do one review. And yeah, Doomcock and I will most definitely, well, we will be fair. Hey, if the thing is funny, I'm going to tell you it's funny. I'm not just going to go in, listen, it's Kurtzman. The chances of it sucking are 99.9999%. But if it's not, and it's funny, I'll tell you it's funny. Below Decks premieres August 6th. We will put it, it will be on the rack, if it deserves it, weekly on the Inquisition. Thank you, Nicholas Horton. And please tune in to the Inquisition, 6 p.m. every Sunday. And it alternates between Doomcock's channel and my channel. And it came out of Game of Thrones. Now, Anthony, did you get back to me? Hang on. Yeah, okay. Check Parler for Retcon 1981 message on Game of Thrones. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So thank you, Anthony Slate. Yes. Apparently, there was big changes to the final script of the Iron Throne, the final episode of Game of Thrones. And it came as a surprise to everyone, and some people weren't told. We'll get to that in a little bit. Thank you, Anthony. It doesn't change the fact that it still sucked. Latino Slant for $1.99. Thank you for the super chat. Lady Gravemaster, congrats. Best news of the day. That's right. I've surrounded myself with women. I have 2 sisters, 2 moms, the boss of my life, Mrs. Nerdrotic, and that's all right. She's my strong female lead. My partner. I don't listen to her all the time. I'm a little hard to pin down, as Lady Gravemaster will find out. Just kidding. For the record, anyone playing records anymore? Hail. Guilty as charged, Latino Slant for $1.99. I play records. As a matter of fact, Mrs. Nerdrotic just got me the Expanse soundtrack on vinyl. At Lou's Records when we were down in San Diego. The Talons of Wang Chang for $1.99. SJWs are a cult and Twitter is their church. Yep. And I'm gonna try to repeat. We're gonna repeat the mantra. This is the mantra now. I'm gonna go back to this tweet all the freaking time. And I don't use that term very much. All right, I don't, but it's so applicable now. And we're gonna repeat it. I just want to make sure I give the person credit. Okay, it's Kung Fu Panda. And it's at @con_punk, con punk. Number 1, do not speak to SJWs. Number 2, do not hire SJWs. Number 3, do not socialize with SJWs. Number 4, do not date an SJW. Number 5, do not be alone in a room with an SJW. And that is in reference to the worst writer in the history of comic books trying to cancel Sean Gordon Murphy, which we talked about yesterday. That is available on Nerdrotic Live, by the way. What's up, Gary? I just finished The Witcher recently. I was wondering if you liked it. A Legend Finder, $4.99. I did. Are you talking about the game or the show? The show I liked. I have started messing around with the game. I am going to go on Twitch and play it officially for the first time on Twitch sometime soon. But I enjoy the game. The game could cost me a lot of hours. That's why I've been kind of hesitant. Doomcock warned me about that. Josh Sconson for 5 Canadian pesos. Josh is also white and has a penis. Well, second part is unconfirmed, but definitely the first. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's white. Canceled Venom for 2 Canadian pesos. Can you burn it down? Just kidding. Burn what down? Oh, San Francisco? No. I mean, there's still people here I like. I suggest they leave. I'll repeat what I said yesterday. I went on my run yesterday. I saw 4 moving vans, trucks in my neighborhood. Clint Matthews for $2. Gary will now be operating from parts unknown. Oh, I'll tell you where I'm going to go. It's going to be a 2-part move. The immediate thing is to get out of SF so we can, because it's clear that they're going to keep this place closed for a long time and it's stupid to do it. Apparently the beer bug is more dangerous here than it is in Mill Valley, which is open. It's just across the Golden Gate Bridge. And I'm just done. So I'm going down to San Diego, back home for a little while, and we're going to circle the wagons. And from there, I'm going to go see what state we're going to move to. But the immediate thing is just get out of here. So heading down back to my homeland of North County, San Diego. I don't know where, that Vista, Escondido, San Marcos, one of those 3 cities. Little inland. I don't want to live on the coast. It's too expensive. Clint Matthews for $2. Gary will, I already read that one. Carrion, which in residence is a member at the Geloja level. Hail. Your rise has been so fun to watch. You're the best. Oh, Brett Baratheon, thank you for the $1.99, and it's only because of you guys. So I appreciate you. It's been crazy. It's surreal. But I have this philosophy to not let my foot off the gas and ever cruise and get complacent. I've had some distractions this month because of the life changes, but no, we're going to keep going. The move shouldn't interrupt anything. You might see a green screen behind me for a couple videos, but it's not going to interrupt anything. This is the priority. Stanley Kubrick was an obsessive perfectionist a-hole nightmare and is celebrated for it. Yeah, Brian Yoder, for $5, you're right. If you're going to start calling the creative process abuse when people were assholes, you might as well cancel Hollywood. Just cancel books. Cancel everything. Hail, Gary. Appreciate all you do. Can you hint towards the area of the country you'll be going? Does the state flag have a lone star on it? Steve O for $4.99. That's my preference, but I have to discuss it with Mrs. Nerdrotic. We have to come to a mutual decision on that. So that is my preference, though. We'll see if that wins out. We'll see if it wins out. But yes, and partially because I know people there. I've got friends there now, a bunch of friends there, so that might be a good place to move. Plus, Mrs. Nerdrotic is especially good at making women blonde, and she's good at balayaging, and there's a lot of blondes in Texas. So, Zelina SW, thank you for the Zelina. Is it Zelina? Thank you for the phallic unicorn for $1.49. Wildros for 2 Canadian pesos. Have a 20 Canadian tire money. Woohoo! How's it going, eh? Michael Tynan, thank you. Welcome to the Gelogia level. Okay, let's get to. It really should be. The Gray Ghost says for $2. A cancel culture daily show. So reality TV, basically, yeah. Let's get to superheroes being canceled. I didn't get to that yesterday. I am going to be doing a video on this, so you're kind of getting a preview. We're not going to go to the source article because F the source article. I'm going to support my friend, John F. Trent. I have been accused of shilling for bounding into comics, and yeah, I have asked for a news website to break the narrative, to show the other side. And of course, he is called far right, just like I'm called far right. But far right people would not call me far right. Right people would not call me right. And I'm always wrong because I'm married. Just kidding, Melissa. Just kidding. From Bounding into Comics in the Future, Pulitzer Prize winning John F. Trent, Time Magazine declares superheroes are a problem because they star straight white men. You know, a little later, I'm going to play, remember that rap battle between George R. R. Martin and Tolkien? I love it. I know it's some cringe to some, but within that rap battle, they have Tolkien say something that is forgotten now. It's called fantasy. It's called fantasy. Realism, the randomness of life is what we try to escape from. And I blame Watchmen. Watchmen was needed. It was a paradigm shift in comics, but it was only supposed to be temporary. We were supposed to evolve from there, and it just got stuck there. And nihilism and fatalism and fucking postmodernism, all that shit is infected, and it's political, by the way, and it's affected our superheroes. So, by the way, I got news for Time Magazine. This is what's been going on for 6 years now. They have been systematically canceling the superhero. Time Magazine and self-described feminism writer Elena Docterman. By the way, if you're a feminist, you're not a comic book fan anymore. There's no such thing as a feminist superhero comic book fan. No, they were comic book fans. They took their women's core studies, and now they just want to take stuff away from men. They got a big victory with Doctor Who. Recently wrote an article declaring that superheroes are a problem, specifically taking issue with the number of superheroes, gender, race, and sexuality. By the way, if you look at the world through now we have to pretend to do it. We have to look through the world through the lens of identity politics. But if you're obsessed with that, then you might be a bigot. Found out Darwin was an ist. I didn't know that. I've been kicked out of 3 high schools. I didn't know that. But yeah, that's a problem. If Docterman's name sounds familiar, she was part of the chorus of voices that I would call it a cackle of of hands that attacked Marvel Comics for publishing Milo Manara's Spider-Woman 1 variant cover back in 2014. Warning, toxicity warning. Toxicity warning. Oh. It's so terrible. That needs to be canceled immediately. Oh my God, Becky, her butt is so big. I like him and I cannot lie. In her article titled, "We're Re-Examining How We Portray Cops on Screen." Are we doing that? Are we doing that? Time Magazine. How far has Time Magazine fallen? I mean, long gone are the days where they called that bad guy from Germany Man of the Year, and now we're writing feminist canceling articles about police and fucking superheroes. Seems like not much has changed. Now it's time to talk about superheroes. All right. Now, for those of you who tune into every show, and I know most of you do that, and you catch every second of every minute of every one of my live streams, then you will remember who called this 4 weeks ago. Hashtag Nerdstradamus. She declares that superheroes are a problem because they are cops with capes. Did I not say that? Hey, shout out to Quarter Black Garrett. He at least gave me props on that. Doctorman begins her article implying there is something wrong with police officers and notes the knee-jerk reaction in Hollywood to violent BLM rioters and looters who are demanding police forces across the country be defunded and dismantled. I am glad that movement is running out of gas. I believe one of the mainstream networks came to the realization that we're not going to get any change. And you know what sucks? You know what sucks about that is we could have used some change. We certainly could have. But what do you think the last month has been? It's been a giant commercial for the Second Amendment and cops. Well done. Well done. She cites Hollywood has canned cop and live PD and that shows like Law and Order, SVU, and Paw Patrol. Did they get rid of Law and Order, SVU? Really? I didn't know that one. Paw Patrol they came under fire. Okay, they came under fire. After spending the first 2 paragraphs of her article demonizing police, Doctorman, or Doctorin, can we just call her Doctorin, Mrs. Doctorin, then makes the comparison to superheroes. She writes, but as we engage in the long overdue conversation about law enforcement, it's high time we also talk about the most popular characters in film, the ones who decide the parameters of justice and often enact them with violence, superheroes. God, it's a beautiful cover. Good pick, John. And look, they don't even draw Superman like that anymore. You notice they make him they're making him skinnier now. That's a effing man right there. Look at that barrel chest. And he's got the underwear on the outside. The pants, as Az calls them. She goes on to cite issues she has with superheroes. With a few notable exceptions, more on those later, most superhero stories star straight white men who either function as an extension of a broken U.S. justice system or as vigilantes without any checks on their powers. Yeah, I'll say that later. Doctorman continues. Usually, they have some sort of tentative relationship with the government. The Avengers work for a secret agency called S.H.I.E.L.D. Batman takes orders from Gotham Police Commissioner Gordon. What? What? Even the villainous members of the Suicide Squad execute government orders in exchange for commuted prison sentences. Yes, and there's a lesson in that. There's a lesson of government corruption. It helps to read the stories, sweetheart, honey. As an aside, the Avengers might have initially operated under S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They no longer do after the events of Captain America Civil War, which exposes that Hydra had infiltrated and corrupted the government agency. Infiltration. Oh my God, that is problematic. Look at Iron Man and Thor right there. At least Hulk is resisting. In the comics, S.H.I.E.L.D. occasionally oversees the Avengers, but the team originally came together after responding to a request from aid from Rick Jones. John, she's not going to know these things. They were not formed or run by S.H.I.E.L.D. She's talking about the MCU, and they always confuse the MCU with comics because they don't know shit about shit. She was given this article by her editor. She did some brief Google searching, went to Wikipedia, probably watched a video. As for Batman, he most definitely did not take orders from Commissioner Gordon. Yeah, no shit. It's usually the other way around. Although Batman did have a close relationship with the Gotham City PD and Gordon in the past. Yes, absolutely. Maybe she watched 1966 Batman, where Batman still only advised, okay? The only example Doctrine gets correct is the Suicide Squad, which is typically run by Amanda Waller, who heads the fictional government organization of Argus and Checkmate. Despite her factual errors, Doctrine continues to cite her grievances with superheroes, and even when superheroes function outside this justice system, they're sometimes idolized by police because they are able to skirt the law and get the job done. She then takes issue with military and police officers who use superhero symbols like the Punisher. Well, I mean, I would start by canceling Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is essentially a space cop, so cancel Captain Marvel. And also, Brie Larson, took a role from a black woman. Doctrine writes, in fact, real-life police officers sometimes adopt the symbol in these rogue anti-heroes, the Punisher. Yes, and that it's used heavily in the military. They carry guns and they mean business, and they're there to intimidate. And listen, I'm not rah-rah police. I'm not. But that's part of their job, is to intimidate. That's why they wear uniforms, and that's why their uniforms are in black. I mean, what do you want them? In a gray jumpsuit, like the rest of the world. The Punisher, a brutal vigilante introduced in 1974 Spider-Man comic, who also starred in a 2017 Netflix series, which had a really good first season and a really bad second season. He was better in Daredevil season 2, has become an emblem for some cops and soldiers to the point where Marvel felt the need to address this idolatry in the pages of its comics. As another side, and yeah, but guess what? I had a Punisher skull on the back of my car for 10 years because it looked cool. That's all. I like skulls. As another side, Doctrine makes no mention of Black Lives Matter supporters are also using the Punisher symbol. In fact, Punisher co-creator Jerry Conway launched a number of Punisher-inspired Black Lives Matter symbols. She does note that a number of people have shown up to BLM protests wearing Batman and Spider-Man outfits. Back to their grievances about superheroes. Her next problem is that they don't have accountability. She writes, the Punisher is a representative of a larger problem in superhero narrative. So what should the Punisher do, sweetheart? The Punisher is representative of a large problem in superhero narratives. When Batman ignores orders and goes rogue, there's no oversight committee to assess whether Bruce Wayne's bias influence I can't get through this. Bruce Wayne's bias influence who he brings to justice and how. These are fucking stories. Oh my God, we've got a generation of fucking retards. God, these are stories. Who gave her a job? She should not be allowed near a keyboard. And yes, I called her sweetheart. She doesn't deserve respect because she didn't give superheroes or any of these people she's trying to cancel respect. A fucking lazy ass Google search is not research. Is not research. You want to take on the Punisher, read at least 2 or 3 of the more prominent trade paperbacks. Yes, I'm mansplaining. I'm nerdsplaining. You want to take on this shit and you want to bring out the nerds. And I know you did this as bait. That's bait. Yeah, I fucking took it. She adds, heroes like Iron Man occasionally feel guilt about the casualties. Occasionally, his whole purpose is based on that. Guilt, trauma. But it's not all guilt. He eventually gets over guilt because guilt's a fucking crutch. Just like victimhood. You move past it and you try to do better. You improve yourself. You let it inspire you to make yourself a better person. You heal, but ultimately empower themselves again and again to draw those moral lines. Remember, one of the first grievances was that superheroes are working with oversight committees like S.H.I.E.L.D., Amanda Waller, and Commissioner Gordon. Now she has issues that the superheroes don't have oversight. Yeah, because she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's not smart enough. She's smart enough to create sentences and paragraphs. She doesn't know what they mean. And she was too lazy to do any actual work. She keeps confusing comic books and movies. They're two completely different things. Superman in the Snyder Cut Superman is not Superman from the comics. It couldn't be further from the Superman in the comics other than his look. Calm down, Snyder Cut fans. It's still fine. There's different versions of Superman, but it's nowhere near the spirit of Superman. Maybe it was getting there. And I think that's a lot of what your argument is we were approaching that Superman. They never got the chance to finish it. And that's a pretty good argument. Again, a reference to by the way, Doctrine would then elaborate most of the blockbuster Marvel and DC comic movies. She said skirt. The issue of who would define justice for whom. Okay, Doctrine, define justice. Define it. It's a little hard to define because there's multiple forms of justice. Dr. Min would then double down on her issues with superheroes. By the way, John, she probably had a word count. You know this better than me. She probably had a word count, right? So it turns into word salad. Dr. Min would then double down on her issues with superheroes being about race, gender, and sexuality. She writes, What's more? Given the creators and stars of these movies have historically been white men, it's hardly surprising that so few reckon with issues of systematic ism, let alone ism, or phobia. By the way, they are going to continue with this narrative. The end game, you guys know this, but I'm going to say it for the few people out there who might agree with her. The only end game for this argument of systematic isms and phobias is completely tearing down the system. There will be nothing less that we can do that will satisfy you. Here's the rub. You tear down the entire system, there's not a system there to replace it for generations. So what you probably want to do is work within a system that actually has been working. It's not perfect. It can get better. Or you could put it off 400 years, 300 years, and build a new one that you'll never get to enjoy ever. And it will be the chode. Definitely things we need to work on for sure. And again, what sucks is in the beginning of this, the George Floyd thing, we could have gotten a lot of good out of it. But then it got co-opted by the same people who co-opted Occupy. And what happened now will be just like Occupy, a memory going, oh, remember Occupy? V for Vendetta? Yeah. Phobia and forms of bigotry embedded in the justice system or inherent biases these superheroes might carry with them and they patrol the streets or the universe. So are you free of these inherent biases? Are you immune to inherent bias doctrine? I'm wondering. Or do you take a supplement that suppresses your inherent bias? By the way, there's definitely some inherent bias in here. After deriding superheroes primarily on their skin color, gender, and sexuality, Doctrine then spends the next part of her article detailing how she wants to see superheroes portrayed in the future, and it's all about social justice, the Social Justice League of America. She praises Black Panther. Most recently, racial issues have become the centerpiece for some superhero films. The clearest example of that shift is Black Panther, Ryan Coogler's 2018 overpraised but somewhat decent superhero movie. Doctrine then commends the potential of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel, but the introduction of Miles Morales, who made his debut in the comics in 2011, could offer opportunities to explore the contentious relationship between New Yorkers and police. Oh my God, I can't wait to read that comic. Oh, I can't wait. You know, the funny thing is Doctrine talks about this is what she wants in comics, and she will never fucking buy one. She will never, ever buy one. She'll demand a free comp because she's in the fucking media, and then she'll never read it. She also hopes that upcoming Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales video game will explore interactions with the police department. Gamers, bet you can't wait for that. Right off the heels of Last of Us 2. Police brutality within the game of Miles Morales Spider-Man. By the way, Eric July talked about, or is going to, I saw it go, if the live stream hasn't aired yet, I can't remember. He's going to be talking about Spider-Man being watered down. Go check it out. I'm sure it'll be interesting. And again, he's going to be on Friday Night Tights at 2 p.m. Miles Morales is a character I originally liked in the Ultimate Universe, staying right there. But there's no personality to him. Into the Spider-Verse was a movie that was decent, but it's going to cause problems in the future, just like Star Trek 2009. You watch. Miles Morales video game will arrive, hopefully with more nuanced take on the NYPD than the game that preceded it, with a Spider-Man who's a young man of color in the city with a painful recent history of stop and frisk policies disproportionately inflicting trauma on young black and brown men. It will be striking oversight if it doesn't. That's a warning. That is the mainstream media warning you, game industry and Marvel and Disney. You better obey. We don't play these games to talk about these issues. You know what? Write a book on these issues. If you're so inspired, write a book, sell a script on these issues by all means. We don't want this shit in our superhero stories. We do it for escapism. I'm not saying ignore the issue. If you have an issue, you are free to talk about it. You know what? There are some comics you can introduce it in, no problem. But that's not why people read Spider-Man, Superman, Justice League, the Avengers. And that's why sales are dropping, because you are. This has infected the comic book industry, and that's why it's dying. That's why it's dead. And she brings up Alan Moore. So I'll go over this more in detail. But somehow Wonder Woman, who wears an American flag over her hoo-ha. So, I mean, but she's okay. I'll go over this in detail when we get to the Watchmen stuff. Oh my God, it just must be exhausting working around a person who just every fucking thing is wrong. America, like there are a lot of people out there who need to go to a 12-step program. I try not to, I praise it. I'm a proud member. I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict. And one of the first things they try to get you out of is victimhood and fucking feeling sorry for yourself and taking responsibility and looking at the good in the world while still being responsible for yourself, while still recognizing problems that we need to fix, but not looking at it through a lens of everything is bad and it all needs to change now. Wow. Entertainment. You are planting the seeds of your own destruction, and you're well into it. And with comic books, it's too late. But you need to start entertaining again and ignoring these people as much as you ignore us. That's all I ask. Wow. Sorry, that was torturous. It's clickbait, word salad bullshit. I understand that. Sometimes, like with the Captain America thing, I pick and choose but this is important to talk about. We do need to talk because I said they were coming for him and it's not going to stop here. But you'll notice the SJWs who will champion this shit will all of a sudden they'll go, yeah, cancel. Wait a minute. I write Captain America. This is where they start eating each other. So we need to kind of exacerbate it and let it happen. Let it happen. And I think within our greater system, I think there's some systems we can let die because they've been too infected. I mean, once, the comic industry has gangrene right now. In Rome, actors were not allowed to testify in court because they are professional liars. All be real for $5. Indeed. And they should never be trusted. I don't want them not to testify, but every time you see a political ad, you guys know this, but I'm saying, again, what I say out loud is for the people, for the haters watching and stuff. They should never be believed, ever. They're liars. They do it for a living. Big Al Titties for £2. Thank you for the light of honest geek critique. You are welcome. You are welcome. I try to be honest. You guys, I'm sure. I mean, we don't all have to agree on everything. Again, I don't entirely buy Doomcock's rumor, but I absolutely believe he got it from sources. There's people out there accusing him of making shit up. Doomcock doesn't need to make shit up. None of us do. Channels are doing just fine. Despite what YouTube is doing. Despite not sending out notifications and unsubscribing people, you guys are still coming, and I appreciate that. And I know they make it harder. And that's why we appreciate you guys even more. But listen, son, Doomcock's got over 150,000 subscribers. He's doing fine. Your channel is doing fine. If you have 20,000 subscribers, that's good. If you got 10,000, that's good. You're motoring. You're rising. You're building. I hate to use the word community. A group of friends, we'll say friends, and your own little thing. And that's what entertainment is freaking out about right now. We have become during this lockdown, good has come out of this, by the way, and it's live streaming. Live streaming is probably the go-to for a lot of people now. Am I going to say the majority? It's on its way. And Hollywood is fucked. There's no way they can ever compete against this. So look for them to come after us. Look for them to come after us in every way, shape, or form. And not just the political channels, because we are their competition right now. You are their competition. I would much rather watch one of you than one of them. Salsa Shark R1 for $2. Left Cali in 2008. Best decision I ever made. Hail. Josh Sconson for 5 Canadian pesos. True art inspires us to be creative. Gary, you have heard the song Dead by Dawn from Showbread? It's a raw rock song inspired by Evil Dead 2. Delicious. I have not. Oh my God. Well, I don't know. I haven't heard. I'll have to hear it. I'll check it out, Josh Gossin. Yeah, thanks for turning me on to that. Michael Tynan for $50. Hey, Gary, just a little something towards your Cal exit fund. Thanks for your content and for saying no to the cancel mob. No, and that's what we all need to say is fucking no. And the same goes for Joss. I know, again, Snyder Cut fans are happy as hell. Dude, you guys don't need to do this. You won. You won. I know the other side pissed you off, and listen, there's a lot of the MCU people who got down and dirty with you. I would say don't do it. Do not. Joss Whedon has kind of canceled himself. You don't see him out there that much anymore, do you? Ever since his wife came out with this thing, he did Justice League. He's developing some series for HBO. Oh, I think it just came out, right? Didn't it just come out? Oh, isn't that interesting timing? Isn't the Warrior Nun show, right? My wife just sent me the news on it, and then Ray comes out with this. So this is payback. Oh, that's what this is. I'm working it all out in my head. This is payback. Okay, well, you know. But yeah, there's part of me that wants to go get him. And then there's the other part, the adult part of me going, no, we got to say no to this shit all the time. So, but Joss, he'll bend the knee. He'll bend the knee. Now, of course, you know, we're confusing people like Warren Ellis and Sean Gordon Murphy with Cameron Stewart. Cameron Stewart actually did horrible things. And then the proper questions aren't asked afterwards. Who knew about it and who covered up? And guess what? All these people who are canceling Cameron Stewart knew this shit for years. Didn't do anything. Didn't say anything till it was beneficial for them. Excited for Pirates of the Caribbean reboot? No, I'll just watch the adult pirate movie with Jenna James in it. I can't remember. It was at the time the most expensive adult movie ever made, and it's a classic. So now if I need to watch that again, I'll watch that. But I love the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I think it's fucking perfect. It's great. Sequels, I worked on the Blu-ray for not the last one, but the one before. The one that came out around 2011, I worked on that Blu-ray. Lawrence Miller, welcome to the Proto-Molecule level. I appreciate it. Mr. Boo for 5 Canadian pesos. Hail, I wanted to report another bit of cancel culture. I had joined Parler and I obeyed their TOS, yet I was banned for SFW means beware. What's an SFW? Sorry, hang on. Safe for work? So safe for work meme. So like, all right, Mr. Boo, why don't you show me how? Or not show you how. Stupid. You got a receipt for that? I mean, do you know that they canceled you for putting up a regular meme? Blast it. If you have proof, Mr. Boo, blast it all over Twitter. Let everybody know. Latino Slant for $1.99. Lady Gravemaster, congrats. Best news of the day. I read that earlier. or email me. I'd love to see. Yeah, because I just joined it, and I heard they were free speech. But if they're banning people for stuff, then it's a waste of time. Alt Fit for £5. Future news: soy culture was abolished in 2021 due to lack of monetary support. Exactly. This will all peter out. They won't have monetary support. Hail, Gary, you are familiar with the comic book character Death's Head? Yes. In the late 80s, Marvel UK did a crossover with the Seventh Doctor, and the character was brought back last year. You should check it out. I didn't see the new version, but I just I got the complete series, and it was part of Doctor Who Magazine, right? Or it was in a collected thing with Doctor Who Magazine. Yes, Death's Head. A little something for the move cash. Hope the state flag has a single star. At any rate, be safe, and I hope the Cal exit goes well. Thank you, Big Daddy MRI, for $9.99. I appreciate you, and it will go well. We're excited. We're like, this is it's been really hard on Mrs. Nerdrotic, I'm not gonna lie. Going through this transition and having to, we're having to give up on, both of us are gonna have to give up on stuff we've worked all our lives for, and we thought we were kind of set here, and we thought that we would have something to pass on to our kids. So when we're gone, they'll have some security, especially, I have a special needs son, and I don't know if he'll be able to live by himself. And he probably could, but I don't know right now. And I want to make sure he is comfortable. My whole goal in life is to make sure he's comfortable, has something to do, and has money, and he's got his big brother to look out for him. And in a lot of ways, we're starting not from scratch, but we just lost, let's say 10 years. And I know a lot of you out there are dealing with the same thing. And you know what? It sucks. Be mad, be angry, be sad, and then get the fuck over it. And you need to realize, like, this will open another door for you. And yeah, you might have to take a couple steps back like we're doing too. But sometimes change is good. Then it just shows that I've reached a point in my life where it's time for a change. That's it. So I went through my feelings. I talked to the people I needed to talk to, and now I'm looking ahead. And listen, I'm not saying it's easy, and a lot of you it's going to be really hard for some of you. So find somebody to talk to, go through it. Don't be afraid to, not afraid, but don't be shamed into not voicing your opinion. Don't be shamed if you're angry or sad. Those are feelings you need to feel to move forward. Thanks. That's what we can listen to. Thanks for the good work. SF Giants 49er for 10.99 euros. Thank you. I appreciate you. I couldn't do it without you guys. Sorry, it jumped on me now. Shit. So I love this account, SF Giants 49er in Europe. Miranda Sinatra. Are you related to Frank Sinatra, Miranda? For $5. Knives Out was beautifully shot and had superb acting, but the plot was trash. Yeah, that's what I heard. Randomize $4.99. Hail, Gary. I binged watched Netflix Dark on the weekend. In my opinion, one of the best shows on TV I've seen in years. Take note, BBC and Disney. Take note, BBC and Disney of what good is. Exactly. Dark is, yeah, it's one of my favorite shows of the last couple of years. I did watch Doom Patrol. It's not for everyone, but I enjoyed it. But I am also a huge fan of the source material, and it's faithful spiritually to the source material. So a lot of people will look at that and go, "Oh my God," because there's some woke moments. But remember that these were taken from comics written 30 years ago, when it was ahead of its time, and it's not necessarily woke. But there are moments, and if it goes totally woke, I will tell you. I reviewed it on my other channel. Gary Nerdrotic, best YouTube channel. You're my favorite YouTuber by far. Wish I lived in the States so I could meet you in person. Grant Kelbrick, thank you for the 35 South African pesos. I want to go to your country someday badly. I want to go look at some of the ancient stone circles, and yeah. I want to go to Africa. I do, badly. But there's countries I want to go that are very dangerous. Like I want to see the eye of the Sahara, but I don't think I ever will because you could legit get killed going there. Thomas Mangold, welcome to the Jaloja level. Thank you. Max 15. What are you doing, Dave? Just Cuz, thank you for the 10 pounds. Just Cuz back at you. Okay, Gare, MT Bear for $2. It's crazy out there these days. Sad times. It is and it isn't, okay? It's crazy in Seattle because there is stupid leadership over there. But I'm betting the vast majority of you, if you put your head outside the window, it's there might be some light rain. The sun might be shining. Birds might be chirping. You'll see a lady jogging past your window. A car is going by, going off to the grocery store. Normalcy is happening. The vast majority of the world is going about their daily business. So let's not allow the mainstream media and the giant corporations here in Silicon Valley who are not our friends to hyper focus on all of the destruction. Notice they've dialed that back. They're not showing the destruction anymore because you know what they realized? Oh, we're getting great ratings and oh crap. Uh-oh. Rioting does not help a movement. It gets attention. It gets a lot of rash decisions that aren't thought out, but it doesn't help. Like the good doctor says, Peter Capaldi, after the first shot, I'm going to paraphrase, after the first shot is fired, you don't know who's going to die. You don't know whose life is going to be ruined. And when everything is said and done, and there's piles of bodies and destroyed lives, you're going to have to do what you should have done in the first place. Sit down and talk. Hail Peter Capaldi. I might play that speech later at the end. I love that speech. Wanted to say hi and give some support. Been a while since chatted, but watching all the time. I did watch Humans recently and thought there were some good things about it. See you. There were, JC. It just, it didn't hold my attention. That's not a judgment on it. It just didn't. Thank you for the $10. Nissan Nation Productions for $2.99. Keep doing. This show is the best. Well, what's up, Nissan Nation Productions? Are you in, what do you do at Nissan? Are you in service? Are you in sales? Are you in parts? I worked in the auto industry for 15 years. Lance H. Welcome to the proto-molecule level. Hail. Canceled Venom for 2 Canadian pesos. Underwater Star Destroyers. I hear have vacancies. They do. Sorry. I was like, had a brain fart there. Canceled Venom. Sorry. Father Christopher Miller. Hail, Father Christopher Miller. We've got some God representation here. He's looking out for us. He's praying for us. He's got our back. And, they're going to come after the church someday. I am not a religious person at all whatsoever. Agnostic. But I support Father Christopher Miller in all the good he does. Nobody ever focuses on the good that the synagogue does, that the mosque does, that the church does. They feed the poor. They do a lot of charitable work. Nope. Everybody's focusing on having them at each other's throats or focusing on, the Christian church is just gets eviscerated in Hollywood. And I've always only asked for things to be fair. I don't see them doing that to any other religions. So Father Christopher Miller takes exception to that, and he should. So happy wife, happy life. You're darn straight, man. You're darn straight. Man of War 665 for $5. Hail, Gary. Hail, chat. Whatever state you wind up in, make damn sure California doesn't follow you. Man of War 665, I take responsibility. I will not vote Californian in the state I go to. You have my solemn promise. That is a good thing to bring up because there will be a massive flight from California. It's happening right now. And I will implore to all of my Californians, my fellow Californians, My fellow Cal Exiters, don't vote like a fucking Californian. Or you'll end up taking it with you. We're leaving this shit for a reason, okay? People are lazy. They do not read their voting pamphlets. They don't know who they're voting for half the time. And look what we got. Look what we got. Mayor do nothing. Isn't it awesome that the first black female mayor of San Francisco did nothing? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Poop Patrol. She created a poop patrol. Stunning and brave. Here in NOLA, used to be truly diverse. Now it's just woke AF. Yep. No, Man of War, that's a good thing to bring up, okay? I'm not moving to Austin. Hell no. Hell no. But you got to look on the bright side. I think you're going to get red county Californians coming out to Texas, and they will vote like Texas. So that will be an improvement. Yeah, a lot of people. See, the thing is, in the red counties of California, they're not that effective. They kind of do whatever the hell they want. Remember, there was going to be a state in the far north of California, Southern Oregon. What was it going to be called? State of Jefferson or something like that? People who say problematic. Remember, people who say problematic. Remember when we used to put them on spikes till they bled out? That time is just around the corner. Hashtag White Lives Matter. That kind of language will get you a violent reaction here in the States. It says alt fit for 5 pounds. Didn't they beat up a guy and his puppy and the cops didn't do anything? You're on your own, folks. Do not wait for the government to save you. The government will not save you. They will only restrict you. That's all they really can do. And by the way, we give them their power still. So I hear they're canceling 4th of July, everyone. Go out and celebrate 4th of July. If you could go out and protest, you can go out and celebrate 4th of July. Do it. Go out and have fun. Have a barbecue, wear a mask, do whatever you need to do to feel safe. We need to not listen to them as much as they aren't listening to them. I got to kind of keep this vague, but you know what I mean. Okay, Gare, Empty Bear gives me a phallic unicorn. Hail. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Vince Hickey for Australian $7.99. You forgot your recently added numbers 5 for SJ. Oh yeah. What was my recently number added again? You're right, Vince. I added one to it and I forgot it. Yes, thank you. Vince Hickey, bless you. I added one to that SJW mantra. Number 6, never compliment an SJW. Never, ever. And this goes to employees and children. I learned this through life because I used to over-compliment my employees and I used to over-compliment my kids. And honestly, my wife checked me on that, and then my father-in-law checked me on that. And they were right. They were right. You're gonna make these little snowflakes. So when they do something good, like, you know, when my son he's like draws a Batman, I'm like, that's pretty good. You know, I don't go, that's the best thing ever. You're gonna draw for DC Comics. No. And employees, the same thing. Because if you start over complimenting employees, they start thinking they're the reason they're there. And boy, did I find that out the hard way. And as far as SJW is concerned, yeah, they are created by the appeasers and the placaters in the comic book industry who wanted to use them as a shield and allowed them in so they could virtue signal. And now they're coming to bite you in the ass. And they're canceling you, and you cowards are not standing up for yourself. Your industry should burn at this point. I absolutely think your industry should burn. I think that is the only way to fix it, is to absolutely tear it down. As far as the comic industry is concerned, because it's so infected with, you know who the comic readers are for Marvel now? You know who their target audience is? Same target audience for Doctor Who. The chode. Former Who fan, $4.99. I'm a native Texan stranded in New York State. I recommend McKinney, Frisco, Plano, Cedar Park, and Leonard. We are doing our best to get back ASAP. Shit howdy. Good, former Who fan. Do your best. I'm sorry you're in New York State. And we'll make it to the promised land. To the promised land. And listen, I am driving away from the best Mexican food on the planet. I could say you know what I'm looking forward to going to San Diego? Having a carne asada burrito immediately. Go to Roberto's, get a carne asada burrito. It's food of the gods, and I'm going to give that up. I'm giving up 75-degree weather all year around. And San Diego's beautiful, and it's not as woke as San Francisco, but it's getting that way. What happened? A bunch of rich ass white people hit the coast, and they started voting that way, and they took San Diego, which was pretty much centrist. It was a completely centrist place. One of the few centrist places in the country where people are just straight up middle of the road. And one of the few places in California, especially coastal, that's a big city that was centrist. And it's not anymore. It's too bad. I couldn't believe it when they voted in a Democratic mayor, and he ended up getting canceled because he was a creeper, Bob Filner. But yeah, I grew up there. I lived there for 32 years. And I loved it. It's a great city. Kudos for predicting this one, says Glenn Saunders. Thank you for the $2. That doesn't hurt to hear. It's not, again, all you have to do is look through the lens of identity politics, and these people are as predictable as hell. They're going to go after Spider-Man, X-Men. That shit's coming. It will be the Spider. Oh, yeah. But that's going to be a problem because they don't own the rights to that. That's going to get, there's other heroes like that. SJW Conversations. Do what we want or else. Southeastern Kaiju for $2. Exactly. It's extortion. Look who runs the comic book industry. Fucking Mags Visaggio and Tess Fowler and Gail Simone. Gail Simone is semi-talented. She can write a digestible comic book. One that I can tolerate. Tess Fowler's art is, quite frankly, she's up jumped. She should be at alternative press expos and stuff like that. Probably on DeviantArt. And Mags Visaggio should not be writing at all. She is taking somebody else's seat who has actual talent. But the thing is, that's all Marvel can afford nowadays. Part of this is because they're cheap. They're going to give Mags a bunch of work because they can virtue signal, and she works for nothing. Like I said, I hope she saved her money. The Gray Ghost for $5. See today's Polygon article. I try to avoid Polygon like rabies. The Last of Us Part 2 proves gaming doesn't know how to deal with muscular women. I will agree with that. I mean, deal with them or make them look proper, because they just put a woman's head on a man. Women don't get that big without a lot of enhancements. And I'm just guessing that's not going to be around in an apocalypse, years into apocalypse. That shit will get burned out, and they're not producing more of it. So you can't find a cache and say, I can live off this for 10 years. No, that cache will be gone. Same shit, different day, tired meme by now. Yep. Another ignoramus who never read a comic. Or worse, ridicule their peers who did. Hashtag bye Karen. Thank you, Peter Ford. Bye Karen. Hashtag bye Karen. I like that. I'm going to put that. When I do the video, I'm going to use that. Peter Ford, I will give you credit. Thanks, buddy. Lord Thoth for 2 Canadian pesos. Empathize about the alcoholism, what I've seen. Yeah. You know, certainly I could probably be canceled for some of my behavior when I was on drugs or alcohol. I was a complete fucking asshole, but you know, I copped to all of it, to the people I needed to cop to. And I tried to, some didn't want to hear it. And that's fine. I wrote my letters and I made my amends, and I said my sorries. I'm not going to say it again. because I've moved on. I've done the work. Does that mean my work is done? No. By God, no. Not, it's never done. But, you know, if people were just assholes, I was just an asshole. I didn't cross any lines. I was just an asshole. And that's the thing we got to be real about. I have been on every drug under the sun, and I've been on a lot of them at once. And there's not a moment where I can say I wasn't in control of myself. And as far as crossing the line, like my judgment was bad and I was fucked up because of the drugs and the alcohol, and I made some horrible calls, but I'm not going to say, oh, I blacked out. I didn't know what I was doing. I was aware. I was aware enough to like, I didn't feel like I was in control all the time. And it must be where possession comes from, because you don't feel in control all the time, but I can't say it relieves me of responsibility. Like some people go, I blacked out during that. Did you now? I don't know about that. I blacked out once, and it's freaky. And what blacking out is not passing out. It's you don't have any memories of like a night, and you come out of it and you're like, whoa. And you thought you were asleep, and they're like, no, you're awake and talking. I'm like, what? I was? Yeah. We need a 4K release of PCU. Yes, we do. The comedy we need. Swinging Cod for $2. Yeah. Get that one while you can. Help Action for $5. Thank you for the donation. Jeremy S. for $5. Doomcock sources usually pretty good, so I know he's hearing from someone credible. Screw the haters. Thanks for the great content and hail the fandom menace. Jeremy S. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go over this briefly. This is deep into the live stream, and we're doing good on time. I don't normally talk about other YouTubers. It's not my thing. I'm not into blood sports or anything. I'll watch the stuff. If another YouTuber does it, this is not a judgment on you. I don't think I'm better than you. It's just this. I don't like doing it because it would just derail my focus, getting in some, verbal, especially when you're verbally sparring with people like this. All right. I have no interest in doing it. So I'm going to bring this up once. Now, these people are dying for attention. They've been dying for attention from us for months. Still not going to give it to them. Not going to give them the time of day. Not going to speak about it after this. I just want to talk about one thing that I was made aware of. Okay. So I received some DMs and I received some emails. And usually when I get 5 or 6 or 7 emails on the same subject, I pay attention. So apparently a YouTuber who was going after Doomcock's rumors, which you can do, by the way. I have no problem with you going after the rumors and speaking your opinion about what Doomcock is talking about. Again, before we preface this, Doomcock has every right to talk about whatever the hell he wants on his channel, and I will support him. He has sources. He reports on rumors. I do the same thing once in a while. We're fans. I'm not the news. I'm not the fucking news. So, and neither does Doomcock. So imagine you're in a comic shop. You just went to a Reddit post and you're all, hey, Peter Jackson's going to direct Star Wars. You're going to talk about it. You're going to go, that would be cool. And you talk about it. That's all this is. That's all this is. And you know what Doomcock's doing? He's reporting on a rumor and he's trying to give people hope about Star Wars. I have none, by the way, 0. So he's reporting that they might take an eraser to the Disney trilogy, put it in the Legends, and that there's 2 factions. There's a Kathleen Kennedy faction. There's a Jon Favreau faction. That I believe. I think Kathleen Kennedy sees her. I said it in my Mandalorian review. The first thing I said on the first episode of the Mandalorian review, I'm all, this guy needs to run Star Wars right now. Right now. This dude needs to run Star Wars. So I'm sure there's behind the scenes corporate politics. I'm sure there's lots of meetings. I'm not going to deny that. But he was reporting that there is a faction that wants to erase it from canon and put it into Legends. And we're talking about the Disney trilogy. I can't believe that. I want it to happen. Very much so. But it doesn't change what's been done. It doesn't change that, and it won't help it won't help Disney at all in future sales. It will help Jon Favreau creatively with The Mandalorian, and maybe way down the road, you might get half your audience back. But Disney wants to get 2015, their 2015 Star Wars audience back. They are never, ever going to get back. People who think Star Wars is in a good space right now and it's fine, it is not. The healing has begun. The Mandalorian is a good direction, but they are not healed. It is not saved. It's got a long way to go. But that being that, if you don't believe the rumors and you want to deny that, go ahead. You have every right to do that on that channel, and I will support your right to do it. I'm talking specifically about one accusation that was made by Matt Jarbo. And I'll never give this guy attention again. Matt Jarbo is a lesson for everyone. And listen, I don't want to pile on the guy. I know what he did. He false flagged. He lied about it. You know what? Everybody deserves redemption. Problem is he won't take it. He keeps denying responsibility. He keeps on going after my friends, and I don't care, and they can defend themselves. But last night I was told that he basically accused the entire Fandom Menace of being far alt-right racists. So, you know, it's that kind of conjecture. We deal with it all the time. We hear it all the time. Mostly it's from anonymous Twitter accounts. But now that I got a face and a name on one of these people, I'll tell you right now, you know, that kind of rhetoric, you better come up with some proof. Like right now, there's plenty of hours of video and live stream out there to get some proof that we're far right racist, which we're not, obviously. I'm not right. I'm not far right. And he specifically aimed that at my friend Doomcock. So, I'm trying to be adult about this. I was pretty fucking hot about it. And the thing is, it's just stupid YouTube drama. And by the way, what do I care? What do I or Doomcock care what an Uber driver thinks of us? I don't. Or an Uber Eats driver. I honestly don't. He's not a content creator anymore because that's not his main job. By the way, it's kind of like, this might kind of sound mean, but a lot of people will say I'm a comic book writer or I wrote a book because I published it, but it's not paying their bills. It's not your day job. You might do that as a hobby, but what you do, if it pays your bills, then you can say that's what you are. You know, I've written a comic book. I've drawn a comic book. I don't call myself a comic book artist or a comic book writer. Ethan Van Sciver is a comic book artist. He makes his living being a comic book artist. You can say aspiring, but that being said, do I really care what an Uber Eats driver thinks of me or Doomcock or any of my friends? Not necessarily, but when you make accusations like that, and again, your full name and face is on it, then I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to bring this up. You make life dangerous for people when you make those accusations. You know, when I go after Jar Jar Abrams, I call him Jar Jar Abrams. I have not called Jar Jar Abrams an ist or a phobe, even though he's acted like one sometimes. I don't. But now in this current environment, if you're throwing that accusation and one of us is walking around in public and they heard you say that, and I'm with my kid or something like that. I mean, listen, I know I'm not going to get into personal attacks. I know life has been rough. You know, it's rough for all of us. If you don't like somebody's rumors, that's one thing. You take it to that level, that's a whole other thing. So I very much look forward to talking to you about it in person someday. So maybe we'll run across each other at Comic-Con or VidCon or wherever. I very much look forward to talking about it like adults in person. Message ends. Brown Gaijin for $2. Can I reckon YouTuber Fourth Age for an Friday Night Tights on Comics? Recommend. Brown Gaijin for $2 wants to recommend the YouTuber Fourth Age for a Friday Night Tights on Comics. The YouTuber called the Fourth Age. Yeah, I'll check it out. Brown Gaijin. Certainly. I will give it. Now, let me be clear. I will check it out. I will look at the person, and if I think they're good enough to come on Friday Night Tights, I'll certainly send out an invitation, but I can't promise anything. Just to make my boundaries clear. So I don't want to give anybody false hope. I will take a look, and I don't care how big your channel is. I just want to make sure you can talk, have conversations, and keep the conversation flowing. I want to start collecting old Amazing Spider-Man and Uncanny X-Men comics. What's your advice for starting? Idea Machine for $5. You start at with the newer issues and work your way back, okay? And you need to start immediately. Spider-Man Silver Age issues are never going to get cheaper. They are insanely expensive. I bought Amazing Spider-Man number 1 in 1997 for $900. It is now worth thousands of dollars, and it's in a safe deposit box where it used to just be in a box. I would start, so you go backwards, and I would buy sets, hit the dollar bins in your local comic shops, and I would do it right now. You would get all the bargains. And the fun part about collecting is hitting the dollar bins. You know, occasionally you can buy a set on eBay and save some money, but if you hit the dollar bins right now, you can work your way back. I would go issue 500 and back. 500 and back. After 500, it's, you know, there's some good stuff, and maybe get some Civil War stuff, but yeah. I showed up a bit late. Did Whedon get canceled? I guess the Checkmark Brigade got hungry again. Strong and Grand. I haven't checked back, but people were going after him. We'll check back in a second. I know I've asked this before, but I never got an answer, or maybe I did. I was probably asleep, UK time. But should I make a Doctor Who fan film? I've answered this 10 times, Ian. Come on, dude. No. Ian, make something original. Doctor Who does not even deserve your time and effort anymore. I'm sure some people would like it, but the thing is, you couldn't crowdfund it. You would get sued, and you couldn't really profit from it. You would get a ton of attention and maybe a bunch of subs on your channel. So what I would do is I would make some fan trailers. Make some fan trailers that are really fun and good, but not an all-out fan film, because they end up being a waste of your time, and you only have so much creativity, and you need to use it on your stuff. So make some kick-ass fan trailers, and then make your own, you know what? Make your own story that's within that universe, but don't really say it is. Kind of like Hitchhiker. Then do something like that. I got your back, Ian. I'll support anything you do. But the fan films, no. Don't. These corporations don't deserve your love right now. And all you're doing is helping them in a way. We need to sever those ties. So they see a lot of us leaving en masse, and maybe, just maybe, they'll change. Unfortunately, what I'm hearing from my insider is they have no desire to change. They are very frustrated that they have to make the changes they do, right, that they're going to make right now. And no, HBO Max has no creative say over anything Doctor Who. I know people feel differently about fan films, and that's cool. That's just my take on fan films. I think you only have so much creativity in your body. I want you to do something original. That's an IP that you can own, and maybe you can make some money off it. And shit, I will support it. If you make something good, I'll support it. Hail, Gary. During your search, visit Plano, Texas, and Madness Comics. They bought an old Walmart, and the comic shop took it over. It's massive. Holy shit, I'm there. I want to buy an old theater. Oh, I don't know if I... See, I was going to buy an old theater with the money I made from my house, which I cannot sell now. So that's gone. Icane 1906 for $5. Horace Cock Johnson for $5. The Orb. Yes. Thank you for calling this out. Gary, really? You are trying to even get more geek street cred wearing that shirt? The only thing I need now is my custom-made Mego Orb with motorcycle. And I want a 1/6 scale Orb. I love the Orb. Ghost Rider is one of my favorite all-time superheroes. Just because he looks fucking cool. Straight up. There is no cooler superhero than Ghost Rider. I own every issue. I own every issue of the of the Western one, everything. Can you give your opinion on the best case scenario for Lord of the Rings TV show? Could a series on a young Aragorn Strider work one day at a time? Bombadil lives, says Viking Man 65 for $10. Yes, it could work, but that's not what they're going to doing. They were setting out to do that originally, and now we're going to get the story of the One Ring. We're going to see it being made. We're going to see, I believe it's the 19 rings of power getting passed out. We're going to see Sauron the Deceiver. And I think we're going to jump times. We're going to see the destruction of Numenor. And then I think it's going to end with the original War for the Ring. The War for the Ring that's in the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring. I hope they set it in Peter Jackson's world. It absolutely could work. And it could work with inclusivity, but it cannot work if it's woke. It cannot work if we're getting, if every elf and hobbit is gay. And it's not. Lord of the Rings is not Game of Thrones. It is fantasy. Fantasy. That's why we love it. I can make an argument. I respect George R. R. Martin. I like A Song of Ice and Fire. It's fanfic. It's really extraordinary fanfic, but it's fanfic. Vince Hickey for Australian $7.99. Hail, Gary. I take responsibility. Thank you for making me laugh in Australia every day. I love you, man. I love you too. I love you so much. Black Tiger 001 for $10. When you do move, need to stream you boxing up that room, bagging, boarding, and chatting style. Run and save yourself. Run! Flee! Flee for your lives. Yes. Oh, taking your advice on working on one of 7 comics I plan. Good. Be creative. There's nothing more rewarding. Thank you for the 10 Canadian pesos. Yeah, I'm running for my life. So we can live again. I'm not going to shelter in place in San Francisco for the rest of the year. London Breed, kiss my white ass. No. Dumb music, dumb movies, dumb literature, and people, says Winter GS for $2. Yep. RIP pop culture. Suda, $9.99. How do you feel about Star Wars The Clone Wars? I think it's an edgy, overhyped kid show that throws canon to the wind and plays out like fanfic, much like Rise of Skywalker. I don't think that harshly of it. I enjoyed what I watched, but I never took it as canon. Does that make any sense? I saw it as a Star Wars cartoon that you could pretend counts if you want, but it doesn't really count. My Star Wars canon, it's in the movies, and if it ain't in the movies, it didn't happen. And by the way, that's how Lucasfilm sees things too. They will change whatever the hell they want when they want. So, Jeremy thinks Clone Wars is the best thing by Star Wars, not or one of his favorite things, but he also likes the prequels. No. I think they're one of the better things from Star Wars. Like The Mandalorian. But I think there's much more, and I'm talking about live action here in cartoons. There's more bad than good of Star Wars. Christopher Harris for $9.99. Thank you for your recommendation for Counterpart. Never heard of this show before, and I loved it. Wow, shame it was canceled. JK is brilliant actor. Love your channel, fam. Keep shining. Thank you, Christopher Harrison. Yeah, the family in here in the chat, they're the best. They are the fracking best. Counterpart, it was such a tragedy. Great first season. I mean, like one of the best first seasons of television ever. Stars J.K. Simmons. It's a spy drama, and it's about parallel worlds or a parallel world, and it's spy versus spy, and you're against yourself. It's a really good concept that got cut too soon. Claudia C., thank you for the phallic unicorn for $9.99. Eric K., what did it say? It jumped on me. Oh, Paula, how are you? Canceled culture should be the only thing canceled, says Paola RL for £1.99. Glad you're here and thank you. And you're right. We need to cancel culture. And this is how we do it, by saying no. Damn you, Gary, mentioning a carne asada. I know, it just made me hungry, dude. Claudia C., thank you for the phallic unicorn. Big recommendation for the Woodlands, Texas. Check it out. I love you guys. Believe me, I'm making a mental note of this stuff. And I'm going to take 3 road trips. One is going to be just Texas. One is going to be Arizona, New Mexico, Utah. And then one might be, believe it or not, Wisconsin. I know, but Melissa's got a bunch of family there. That would be like living there in the summer. I could not spend a winter in there. I'm not a big fan of snow. I'm from San Diego, dude. Brah, I don't do the snow, bro. Asked before, but never saw you answer. Have you read the comic Y the Last Man? And if yes, do you think it could survive today because the savior of humanity is, gasp, a man? Very good series. Niku-san for $9.99. You did ask. I did answer, but I have no problem answering again. I don't think it can work today. I think its time has passed. I think a lot of people in our realm will see it as woke, and the other ones will say it is a white savior. So no. Funny thing is, Peter Jackson, when he shopped in my comic store, that's what he and Philippa Boyens bought. They bought my complete Y the Last Man series. But it could work in normal times. Absolutely. It's a good story. Such pretty skin. Give it to us. Been to San Diego once while touring. Tried a place called JV's. Gary is right about the best Mexican food. Legit. It is. You mean VG's? VG's Donuts in Cardiff? It's VG's Donuts in Cardiff are great too. Those are great. Are they the best? I don't know. I haven't been to every donut shop, but VG's is legendary. Christians, thank you for the sticker for £5. Says keep it up. Good Mexican food is easy to find in San Diego. Here, try the L&L Hawaiian barbecue in San Diego and let me know if it's good. I will next time I'm there. Battle Hymn 63. Melissa's going there tomorrow. She's heading down tomorrow, but I'm going to stay home. Def 81, $2.99 says fist bump. Fist bump to you too. Darth Merlin for $2. Have you heard about Cass Anvar? Yes. I have heard the Cass Anvar allegations and they make me sad. I think he is a great Alex Kamal. Expanse is one of the best shows on TV. And I don't know if they're actual sexual misconduct or if he just flirted with people. I'll have to look into it more. It bums me out. But it looks like a lot of the Expanse community is just already kind of canceled him, which there you go. Fan film. Okay, I hear you. Cheers, mate. Cheers, Ian. I can't wait to see it. Star Trek Discovery news in your Facebook inbox. Thank you, Miles. I will check it out right now. Let me do these 4 super chats and then we'll get to it. CJ for $10. Gary, will your new comic shop be only back issues? Also, since you mentioned Kubrick and Whedon and as assholes, they got results. What's your opinion on Jim Shooter back in the day? He got fucking results. No, here's the distinction, CJ, and I don't care if you're an asshole. I don't really fucking care. Did you get the work done? Were you good? Did you hurt a few people's fifis? Did you make them cry? I mean, you shouldn't do that. But did you get results? Did those people get rich off you? Did they get famous? Should you be yelling at people and screaming at them for comic books and film? No, absolutely not. But being an asshole isn't against the law. And you know what? You have to deal with these people. And Ray Fisher, I would have stood up to the guy. Straight up stand up to the guy. If he's giving you shit, give it to him right back. That's how you deal with bullies. You don't go and cry about it on fucking Twitter. You deal with it right there face to face. Makes you look a little soft to me. And again, Snyder Cut fans, I know you're tempted. I know you're tempted. Again, you won. You won. I was just going to say, try to win with some dignity, but it's the internet. Why bother? But no, being an asshole isn't against the law. I love Kubrick. I love my opinion of Buffy the Vampire Slayer has not changed. And the only thing that would change it if we found out, he was a creeper, if you know what I mean. Then I wouldn't support it anymore. But as it stands right now, it's one of my favorite all-time TV shows. Josh Gonson for 5 Canadian pesos. Believe it or not, my dad had a comic book. Oh, by the way, you mentioned comic shop back there. I will sell new comics, but I will not be selling new Marvel and DC and Image. Nothing from the mainstream industry at all. I will order stuff for people who want to specifically order something. So if you come in and I'll order it, but it will not be from Diamond. I will not, and I repeat, I will not have a Diamond account ever again as long as I live. End of story. Steve Jeppy isn't an evil guy. I just don't want to get on that Diamond. They get you hooked. And I don't want to get on that hook. All the toys are going to be vintage, or I'm going to buy them, from, I don't know. I'm going to try to buy my toys direct from the manufacturer. If they're forcing me to go through some distributor, then I will find another way to get stuff at cost. But it'll be vintage toys. It'll be vinyl. It'll be used games, used movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, mostly comics and toys though. Mostly comics and toys. And I'm looking for a lot of square footage. And you know what? I'm going to call it the Comic Outpost. That was the name here. It's not being used. I can't use it in California, but I can use it in Texas. Certainly could. Don't think it's trademarked. I got to check and make sure it's not trademarked. I don't think it is. Nerdrotic is. Rich Suddy for 10 pounds. Well, have some cheddar for the moving fun. Let's see how the other half of the year goes. Yeah, no shit, right? Thank you again for the $10, Rich. Otaka Smurf for $5. Gary, got my room for Trek and Harris. Great. Oh, also putting my vote in for a Big Star State. Buddha Kyle, San Marcos is a good area as well. Yeah, it's going to be San Marcos and Vista for a little while. Star Trek Las Vegas, there is being work. This is also a message. I don't know if there's any other YouTubers out there. I know you created the group. I will contact you guys in the group. I've enlisted some help on finding a room. I want to try to find a room at the convention at Caesars. That's my first go. I'm going to try to do something meetup that's really close to the convention. And then guys, stay wherever the hell you want. Rooms are super cheap. And then I'll give you some more information. So I am working on that. And maybe we can get Lady Gravemaster to help with that too. Boston Jared for $5. What do you think of Hickman's work on X-Men? So far, he has done more harm than good. Yeah, I'm not happy with it. I know people are loving with it. I am done with the modern comic book industry as far as Marvel and DC are concerned. As long as they fucking hire people like the worst comic book writer in history, Max Visaggio, Zoe Quinn. No interest in giving them money and helping those people at all who are fucking rooting on the destruction of my country. Get fucked. Seriously, in the nicest way, get fucked in every hole. You've destroyed it. And, again, I have criticism for the comic shops too. They could have stopped this shit. But listen, I know it's hard. It's scary. It's scary. Change is scary and you risk losing everything. But if you don't change, you don't risk it. You guarantee that you're going to lose everything. What's up, Brian Cannell? What's up, brother? Give him a sub. My internet son. Man, he's showing and growing. He's showing and growing. Gary, I picked up the Loot Crate reprint of Action Comics #1. Are there any other reprints other than 1976? Yes, there is. There's that Treasury Edition reprint, and there was a reprint in there's been one every decade. But but I can't remember off the top of my head. My DC knowledge is weak prior to 1980 because I didn't collect DC. I was a Marvel guy. Now I'm like all DC all the time. So, which is great. I just got a set of Doom Patrol, the Silver Age Doom Patrol for nothing. Once you find a new home, can you please rank them? Oh, I will, absolutely. And I'll do, guys. Yeah, I'll box. I don't want to box this thing up. It's gonna make me cry a little bit. I might get a little emotional. Right now, it's easy to knock woke content because it's poorly made. What do we do if and when they learn to make woke propaganda with some quality? JM for $5. You can't make quality propaganda, Jay. I mean, it's a good question. But you can't make good propaganda because it's still propaganda. It's not a story. There is woke content. I won't call it woke. There is content out there with alphabet relationships and some of their talking points that are done well, like in the Doom Patrol. But it doesn't make it woke. Woke to me is propaganda. It's cringe. It is extreme. It is a fringe left. It is an ideology that's fundamentalist ideology. Also picked up the 1988 reprint. Good. Pick them all up. Good luck finding the first one though. It's like millions of dollars. But I love that book. Get the omnibus, the Golden Age Superman omnibus. I think you could still get it for like $75. They're hard to find now, though. That is awesome. That is brilliant. And that is real Superman from the freaking funny pages and stuff. That's great. All right, I'm going to wrap this one up. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. We had over 3,000 people watching. You are beautiful. You are intelligent. You are smart. And I don't know why you're watching me, but thank you. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you to all the new members. We got 6 new members. Thanks for all the super chat. Thank you to my Nerdrotics, who were Eric K., who's always here. Lady Gravemaster, Ryan Cannell. Love you, boo. And oh, by the way, Ryan, I'll be I'm moving to San Diego, for like the next, few months while I look for another house, but I'm going down to San Diego. So we should not practice safe distance and live stream and piss some people off. Who else was here? Well, Mark Earth and everybody else. Thank you to the Nerdrotics and welcome to the family, Lady Gravemaster. Everybody F's in the chat for Lady Gravemaster for becoming the producer at Nerdrotic, the producer for Friday Night Tights, and eventually the Nerdrotic Nooner. She is the reason she got this job. She put some stuff together like quickly. A schedule. She made a schedule unsolicited. So yeah, she did some impressive stuff, and she's a very good researcher, and that's what I need. So thanks a lot. My entire family appreciates it, Lady Greymaster, and we appreciate you. And our next live show will be Friday Night Tights, 2 p.m. Pacific time with, of course, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. Twitter has not been the same without him. The great Comics Division, the great Odin's Movie Blog, and freaking Az from Heel versus Babyface. Modalicious, why are you looking so angry? Don't be so angry. He's I love you, Modalicious. Eric July is awesome. Go give him a sub. Right, politically, he has been on point, in my opinion, for the last, I don't know, forever, but especially the last 3 or 4 months. He has done some of his best work, so go check him out, please. And please support anybody in the Fandom Menace under that hashtag. I said my thing about that other YouTuber, the Uber driver, the Uber Eats guy. I'll leave it there. I'm not going to get in a mix-up. I'm not going to respond to anything else. Alls I will say is, if he wants to talk about it in person, we can discuss. The consequence of false accusations, like 2 adults, 2 men. And that's what I mean. By the way, there's no veiled fucking threat or anything. I'm 50. I don't get in like fucking fist fights and shit like that. I'm a father. But I would very much like to see what his thinking was to make that kind of an accusation and what his proof is. And we'll leave it there. All right. I love you guys. Thank you again for all your support. I'll see you Friday. Not all who wander are lost. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Even you, Modalicious. And you bow to no one.